Good afternoon, everyone. And here we are again with Holy Mother. It's good to see you all, the ones I can see. We're on page 84 if you have your book. We're starting Jairambati, 16th December 1909. And this is Swami Arupananda giving his talks. The recordings that he did of what they said, his conversations with Holy Mother. After finishing the relief work at Gatal, I again returned to Jairambati. On reaching the house of the Holy Mother in the evening, I found her seated on the porch, applying medicine to her leg. She was suffering from rheumatic pain in her knees. Disciple: what is this medicine? Mother: someone suggested this leaf. Have you been starving the whole day? Disciple: no, but I've not taken any food on the way. Mother: why did you not buy some refreshments? There are stores on the way. I had with me only a rupee which I had saved for my return journey to Bellarmont. However, I did not tell her about it. She served me with a hot meal, which I ate heartily. The mother said to me, the master will get a great deal of his work done through you. You went to Gatal, distributed so many things, and a great number of people were benefited. When the work is over, at the right time, the master will gather his child back to his bosom. Disciple: Mother, why do I not see him? Mother: you will see him, son. You will see him at the right time. Lalit: a disciple of the mother would never ask, why do I not see him? He firmly believed that since the master was his very own, sooner or later he was certain to see him. Disciple: Mother, please look after my welfare. Please bless me that I may develop pure devotion. Mother: yes, dear child, you will be endowed with pure devotion. She gave me a blanket and asked me to use it during the night. I asked her, whose is this blanket? She said, it is mine. I use it myself. On 18th December 1909, Mother was preparing beetle rolls in the veranda of her room. It was nearly 9 a.m. I was eating puffed rice. I said to her, Mother, please do not detain me this time for long. Mother: if you don't want to stay, you can come with me. When the time comes, meaning death, all have to go. Disciple: please remember your promise, Mother. Mother: I've already said I will come and carry you along with me. Disciple: please take me with you this time. Next time I will accompany the master when he comes. Mother laughed and said, well, I'm not coming again. Disciple: whether you decide to come or not, I will certainly come back to this world. I have a desire to come. Mother: most probably you wouldn't want to return when the time comes. What is there in this world, my child? Tell me at least one thing that is worthwhile. That is why Sri Ramakrishna was satisfied with the most ordinary dishes. Whenever I would offer him sandesh, a kind of sweet, he would say, what is so special in it? It is just the same as a lump of clay. Disciple: why do you cite the example of Sri Ramakrishna? He is beyond all comparison. Mother: exactly so. Will there ever be anyone really like him? At this point, Uncle Varda came to read the letters to her. One of the letters, now remember, Mother didn't read that well because they didn't believe in educating women in those days. One of the letters was from my brother, requesting the mother to persuade me to return home. Though short, the letter was written in a good style and contained beautiful sentiments. The mother said, what a nice letter. Then she said, addressing me, why don't you return home? Live in the world, earn money, and bring up a family. She was testing me. But mother, said I, please do not say that. Mother, so many people are leading worldly lives. If you do not feel inclined, you need not do it. I began to weep. The mother then said to me with great tenderness, my child, please do not weep. You are a living God who is able to renounce all for his sake. Even the injunctions of destiny are canceled if one takes refuge in God. Destiny strikes off with her own hand what she has written about such a person. What does a man become by realizing God? Does he get two horns? No. What happens is he develops discrimination between the real and the unreal, gets spiritual illumination, and goes beyond life and death. God is realized in spirit. How else can one see God? Has God talked to anybody devoid of ecstatic fervor? One sees God in spiritual vision, talks to him, and establishes relationship with him in spirit. Disciple, no, mother, there is something else besides. One gets a direct vision of the Atman. Mother, that Narayan, Swami Vivekananda, alone had. The master kept with himself the key to Narayan's liberation. What else is spiritual life besides praying to the master, repeating his name, and contemplating on him with a smile? And the master? What is there after all in him? He is our own eternally. Disciple, mother, please see that I realize the right thing, just that Ramakrishna is our own. Mother, must I repeat it? Firmly, you will certainly realize it, certainly. And that's when you get the Holy Mother telling you you're certain to realize it. I think you will. 19th December 1909. I was talking to the mother in her room. She was lying on her bed. The conversation drifted to the Vedanta. I said to her, nothing exists in the world except name and form. It cannot be proved that matter exists. Therefore, the conclusion is that God and such other things do not exist. My idea was that such things as the Master and the Holy Mother were also illusory. She at once understood my thought and said, Narendra once said to me, Mother, the knowledge that disregards the lotus feet of the Guru is nothing but ignorance. What is the validity of knowledge if it proves that the Guru is not? Give up this dry discussion, this hodgepodge of philosophy. Who has been able to know God by reasoning? Even Shiva and the sages like Shuka and Vyasa are like big ants at the most. And there's a footnote here, which I'll read to you. It's a reference to an illustration given by Sri Ramakrishna. Men often think they have understood Brahman fully. Once an ant went to a hill of sugar. One grain filled its stomach. Taking another grain in its mouth, it started homeward. On its way, it thought, next time I shall carry home the whole hill. That is the way shallow minds think. They don't know that Brahman is beyond one's words and thought, however great a man may be. Disciple, I want to know. I understand a little too. How can one stop reasoning? Mother, reasoning does not disappear as long as one has not attained to perfect knowledge. I asked her about japa and other spiritual practices. The mother said, through these spiritual practices, the ties of past karma are cut asunder. But realization of God cannot be achieved without ecstatic love, prema bhakti, for him. Do you know the significance of japa and other spiritual practices? By these, the dominance of the sense organs are subdued. Referring to Lalit Chatterjee, who had been dangerously ill, the mother said, Lalit used to give me great financial help. He would take me out in his carriage. He gives much for the divine service in the shrines of Dakshineshwar and Kamarpukur. My Lalit has a heart worth 1,000,000 rupees. There are many who are miserly in spite of their wealth. The rich should serve God and his devotees with money, and the poor worship God by repeating his name. Referring to ecstatic love, the mother said, did the cowherd boys of Vrindavan get Sri Krishna as their own through japa or meditation? They realized him through ecstatic love. They used to say to him, to an intimate friend, come here, O Krishna, eat this, take this. Disciple, how can one yearn for God without seeing the manifestation of his love? Mother, yes, it is possible. There lies the grace of God. Jairambati, 31st December 1909. It was about 9 in the morning. The mother had been preparing beetle rolls when I came to see her. This is like the third day we met the mother in the early morning, and she's always preparing beetle rolls for everyone who comes to visit her. Soon we were engaged in conversation. Disciple, Mother, I have seen and heard so much. Still, I cannot recognize you as my own mother. Mother, if you do not think of me as your own, how is it that you come here so often? You will know your own mother in proper time. After a while, I said to her, referring to my parents and brothers, my parents brought me up. I do not know where they are now. It was after their death, or how they live. Please give your blessings that my brothers may have good tendencies. Mother, do most people ever want God? There are so many people in this very family, but do all want the Lord? And remember what Mother's family is like. They wanted her to take care of them and to do everything for them. After a few minutes, she said to me, don't marry, don't enter worldly life. What should you fear if you are celibate? Wherever you may live, you will be free. Disciple, but Mother, I have fear. Mother, no, have no fear. All depends upon the will of the Master. Disciple, the mind is the whole thing. If it be in a pure state, it does not matter where I live. Please see, Mother, that my mind always remains pure. Mother, may it be so. 2nd January 1910. It was the birthday of the Holy Mother. A few days before, Prabodh Babu had come to Jairambati and given 5 rupees to the brothers of the Holy Mother for a special worship on her birthday. The mother said to them, you need not do anything special today. I shall wear a new cloth. The Master will be worshipped with a sweet offering, and I shall partake of it later on. That is all for this occasion. After the worship in the shrine, the Holy Mother sat on her couch with her feet hanging down. She had put on a new piece of cloth. Prabodh Babu offered some flowers at her feet. I stood on the porch near the door. The mother said to me, what, won't you offer some flowers? Here they are, take them. Then I also offered flowers at her feet. We enjoyed a sumptuous feast at midday, and afterwards Prabodh Babu left for Calcutta. But as I was indisposed, I remained at Jairambati. 5th January 1910. In the course of a conversation, the mother said, can you tell me if anyone could bind God? Mother Jashoda could and also the cowherd boys and milkmaids of Vrindavan could, because he himself allowed them to do so. As long as a man has desires, there is no end to his transmigration. It is the desires alone that make him take one body after another. There will be rebirth for a man if he has even the desire to eat a piece of sweetmeat. It is for this reason that a variety of foodstuffs were brought to Bellarmont. Desire may be compared to a minute seed. It is like a big banyan tree growing out of a seed, which is no bigger than a dot. Rebirth is inevitable so long as one has desires. It is like taking the soul from one pillowcase and putting it into another. Only one or two out of many men can be found who are free from all desires. Though one gets a new body on account of his desires, yet one does not completely lose spiritual consciousness if one has to one's credit merits from a previous birth. Okay. So this is the same thing when they always say that you never that any kind of spiritual practice you will never lose the results of it, that it keeps building up no matter what you do in this life, whether you realize God or not. You will not lose the effects of any spiritual practice that you do. A priest in the temple of Govinda in Vrindavan used to feed his mistress with the food offerings of the deity. As a result of this sin, he got the body of a ghoul after his death, but he had served God in the temple. As a result of this merit, he one day appeared before all in his own physical body. It was possible for him to do so on account of his past good actions. He told people the cause of his inferior birth and said to them further, "Please arrange a religious festival and music for the redemption of my soul from this state. It will free me." Disciple, is it possible to be freed from such states through religious festivals and music? Mother, yes, that is enough for the Vaishnavas. They do not perform such obsequies as Shraddha and so forth. Once I visited the image of Jagannath at Puri at the time of the car festival. I wept in sheer joy to see so many people having a view of the image of the deity. I said to myself, it is good. They will all be saved. But later on, I realized that it was not so. Only one or two who were absolutely free from desire could attain liberation. When I narrated the incident to Yoganma, she corroborated this by saying, "Yes, Mother, only people who are free from desire attain liberation, mukti." One morning while I was taking my breakfast on the veranda at the Holy Mother's room, I asked her, "Mother, will I have to be initiated into sannyasa if I am to live in Bellarmont?" Mother, "Yes, my child." Disciple, "But Mother, the monastic life begets a terrible vanity." Mother, "Yes, that is true. A monk may become very vain. He may think, see, he does not respect me. He does not bow down before me, and so on." Pointing to her own white cloth, which is a symbol of the householder rather than the ochre of the sannyas. One should rather live thus, meaning possessed of inner renunciation. Gaur Siromani, who was an outstanding holy man of the Vaishnava sect, took to the monastic life in his old age when his sense organs had become dull. Is it possible, my child, to get rid of vanity? Vanity of beauty, vanity of virtue, vanity of knowledge, and vanity of a holy life? The Holy Mother exhorted me to make ready for the life of renunciation. Go home, said she, and tell your brothers once and for all, I will not accept any job. I need not be a slave to anyone. Now that my mother is no more, I will not do anything of the sort. You be happy with your householder's duties. The mother and I were engaged in conversation in the evening. Disciple, Mother, one gets spiritual realization at any time if the grace of God descends on him. Then he does not have to wait for the right time. Mother, that is true. But can the mango which ripens out of season be as sweet as the one which ripens in the month of Jyeshtha? That is the proper season. Men are trying to get fruits out of season. You see, nowadays, one gets mangoes and jackfruits, even in the month of Ashwin, autumn. But these are not as sweet as those found in the proper season. This is also true of the efforts that lead to God realization. Perhaps you practice some japa and austerities in this life. In the next life, you may intensify the spiritual mood. And in the following life, you advance further. Referring to one's attaining spiritual realization suddenly, the mother said, God has the nature of a child. One man does not ask for it, yet he gives it to him. Whereas another man asks for it, and God will not give it to him. It is all his whim. Another day, while the Holy Mother was seated on her porch preparing betel rolls, I said to her, in future, how many will practice spiritual disciplines to propitiate you? Mother said with a smile, what do you say? All will say, the mother had such a gout, she used to limp like this. Disciple, you may say that. Mother, that's good. That is why the master used to say when he was lying ill at the Kasipur garden, those who came to me expecting some earthly gain have disappeared, saying, he is an incarnation of God. How can he be ill? This is all Maya. But those who are my own have been suffering a great deal in seeing this misery. The Uddbodhan office. Uddbodhan is, of course, Holy Mother's place in Calcutta. On the day previous to my initiation, I said to the Holy Mother, Mother, I want to be initiated. Mother said, have you been initiated yet? I answered in the negative. I thought that you had been initiated, she said. After initiating me, she blessed me, saying, may your body and mind become pure by repeating the name of God. Disciple, what is the need of repeating the mantra with the fingers? Is it not enough to do so mentally? Mother, God has given the fingers that they may be blessed by repeating his name with them. 25th September, 1910. The mother was engaged in a conversation with me in the morning. Disciple, Mother, if there exists some being called God, why is there so much suffering and misery in the world? Does he not see it? Has he not the power to remove it? Mother, the creation itself is full of misery and happiness. Could anyone appreciate happiness if misery did not exist? Besides, how is it possible for all persons to be happy? Sita once said to Rama, why don't you remove the suffering and unhappiness of all your subjects? Please make all the inhabitants of your kingdom happy. If you only will, you can easily do it. Rama said, is it ever possible for all persons to be happy at the same time? Why not? Asked Sita. Please supply them from the royal treasury the means of satisfying everyone's wants. All right, said Rama. Your will shall be carried out. Rama sent for Lakshmana and said to him, Go and notify everyone in my empire that whatever he wants, he may get from the royal treasury. At this, the subjects of Rama came to the palace and told their wants. The royal treasury began to flow without stint. When everyone was spending his days joyously through the Maya of Rama, the roof of the building in which Rama and Sita live started to leak. Workmen were sent for to repair the building, but where were the workmen to be had? There was not a laborer in the kingdom. In the absence of masons, carpenters, and artisans, all buildings went out of repair, and work was at a standstill. The subjects of Rama informed the king of their difficulties. Finding no other help, Sita said to Rama, "It is no longer possible to bear the discomfort of the leaking roof. Please arrange things as they were before. Then all will be able to procure workmen. Now I realize that it is not possible for all persons to be happy at the same time." "Let it be so," said Rama. Instantaneously, all things were as before, and workmen could once more be engaged. Sita said to Rama, "Lord, this creation is your wonderful sport. No one will suffer all the time. No one will spend all of his days on this earth suffering. Every action brings its own result, and one gets one's opportunities accordingly." Disciple: Is everything then due to karma? Mother: If not, to what else? Don't you see the scavenger carrying the tub on his head? Disciple: Whence does one first get the propensity which leads one to an action, good or bad? You may say, as an explanation of the propensities of this life, that they are due to the actions of the previous life, and the propensities of that life to the preceding one. But where is the beginning? Mother: Nothing can happen without the will of God. Not even a blade of grass can move. When a man passes into a favorable time, he gets the desire to contemplate on God. But when the time is unfavorable, he gets all the facilities for doing evil actions. Everything happens in time according to the will of God. It is God alone who expresses his will through the actions of man. Could Narayan, Swami Vivekananda, by himself have accomplished all those things? He was able to succeed because God worked through him. The master has predetermined what he is going to accomplish. If anyone surrenders himself totally at his feet, then the master will see that everything is set right. One must bear with everything, because everything is determined by karmas, actions. Again, our present actions can counteract the effect of past actions. Disciple: Can action ever cancel action? Mother: Why not? If you do a good action, that will counteract your past evil action. Past sins can be counteracted by meditation, japa, and spiritual thought. I had heard that a boy in the Mirzapur street was possessed by a ghost. Some members of the Udbodhan office had visited the boy yesterday. I asked the mother, "How long does one live in the spirit body?" Mother: All people, excepting highly evolved souls, live in the spirit body for a year. After that, food and water are offered in Gaia for the satisfaction of the departed souls, and religious festivals are arranged. By these means, the souls of the departed are released from their spirit body. They go to other planes of existence and experience pleasure or pain, and in the course of time are born again in human forms according to their desires. Others attain salvation from these planes. If a person has some meritorious action to his credit in this life, he does not lose spiritual consciousness altogether in the spirit body. Here the mother referred to the spirit of the Vaishnava priest of the Govindaji temple in Vrindavan. Disciple, is it possible for one to attain to a higher state if one's Shraddha ceremony is performed in Gaya? Mother, yes, that is true. And there's quite a footnote here. In this connection, I'm reminded of another incident. The Holy Mother was in Benares. I had left a day or two before for Gaya to perform the Shraddha ceremony for my dead ancestors. I had said to the Holy Mother before my departure, Mother, please give your blessings that my ancestors may attain heaven. On the very night of the day I offered food and drink in Gaya for the gratification of my departed ancestors, Bhudev, the mother's nephew, who had accompanied her to Benares, saw the Holy Mother in a dream, engaged in japa, with a crowd of people around her, saying, please give me salvation, please give me salvation. The mother sprinkled over them the holy water kept in a jar and said, go away, you are saved. Then they departed in great happiness. Then another man appeared. The mother said to him, I cannot continue like this any longer. He begged of her a long time and at last received her grace. The next day, Bhudev narrated this dream to the mother, and she said in reply, R has gone to Gaya to perform the Shraddha ceremony of his ancestors. Therefore, all these people have attained their salvation. In fact, while offering oblations for my departed ancestors with great sincerity, I had also offered food and drink for the salvation of all persons whose name I could remember at that time. I had prayed for the salvation of them all. Disciple, then what is the necessity of spiritual practices? Mother, these dead souls no doubt attain to a higher state and live there for some time, but afterwards they are again born in this world according to their past desires. After their birth in a human body, some of them obtain salvation in this life, whereas others take inferior births to reap the results of their karma. This world is moving around like a wheel. That indeed is the last birth in which one gets rid of all desires completely. Disciple, you just referred to the dead souls attaining to a divine state. Do they go there by themselves or does someone lead them? Mother, no, they go by themselves. The subtle body is like a body made of air. Disciple, what happens to those for whom no Shraddha ceremony is performed in Gaya? Mother, they live in the spirit body until some fortunate ones born in their family perform the Shraddha ceremony in Gaya or some other forms of obsequies. Disciple, we hear of ghosts and spooks. Are they the attendants of Shiva or simply spirits? Or are they the spirits of dead people? Mother, they are the spirits of the dead. The spirit attendants of Shiva belong to a special group. One must live very carefully. Every action produces its results. It is not good to harass others or use harsh words towards them. Disciple, Mother, a margosa tree does not produce a mango, nor does a mango tree produce a margosa fruit. Everyone reaps the result of his own karma. Mother, you are right, my child. In course of time, one does not feel even the existence of God. After attaining wisdom, Jnana. One sees the gods and deities are all Maya. Everything comes into existence in time and also disappears in time. And we're still, does anyone have any questions or any comments yet? This is all pretty, yeah.
In it, it said that it is for this reason that a variety of foodstuffs are brought to Belur Mat. That was after she said, there will be rebirth for a man if he has even the desire to eat a piece of sweetmeat. So why are a lot of, sweets brought to Belur? Is it to satisfy minor desires?
Everyone's desires who eat there, so they won't have that remnant of desire. Oh, I wish I'd had sandesh from Benares. Oh, I wish I'd had a sandesh from somewhere. They bring all the varieties, everyone provides them so that the small desires are fulfilled. Yeah, that's what it is. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll finish this Udbodhan section in Udbodhan prayer hall. It was morning and we were talking with the Holy Mother. After Sri Ramakrishna passed away, while staying alone at Kamarpur, I thought within myself, I have no children. There is no one in this world whom I can call my own. What will happen to me? Then the master appeared to me and said, well, you want a son? I have given you so many jewels of sons, and in course of time, you will hear many more people addressing you as mother. While I was going to Vrindavan, I saw the mother look at me through the window of the railway and carriage and say, you have the gold amulet with you. See that you do not lose it. I had tied this amulet on my arm. I used to worship it. Later, I gave it to the Belur Mat. They worship it there. Devotee, the amulet, it seems, was lost this year on the Master's Titi Puja Day, along with flowers and bell leaves that were also thrown into the Ganges unknowingly. When water receded at the ebb tide, Ram Babu's son found it while playing there and brought it back. Mother, it is his amulet. It must be preserved carefully. The talk turned to Belur Mat. Mother, of a truth, I always saw it as though the master lived on the land on the other side of the Ganga, that is opposite to Dakshineshwar, in a cottage just where the present monastery and plantain trees are. At that time, there was no Mat. After the new land was purchased for the Mat, Narayan took me there one day. He showed me each and every part of it and said, Mother, now you can move about in your own place at will without any restraint. At Bodh Gaya, I saw the Mat of that place with so much of property. There was no dearth of any commodity there. I used to weep and pray to the master, oh master, my children have no place to stay, nothing to eat. They are wandering from door to door. If only they could have a place like this to stay. And so, by the grace of the master, this Mat came up. One day Narayan came and said, Mother, just now I have offered 108 bell leaves to the master so that we could have a piece of land for the Mat. That karma can never go without its fruit. One day it will certainly happen that way. At night, after food, I went to bring the betel rolls and heard these words from the Holy Mother. Narayan said, Mother, nowadays everything of mine is flying away. I see that everything flies away. The mother smilingly continued. I said, please take care. Don't send me also flying. At that, Narayan answered, Mother, if I were to send you flying, where shall I remain? That jnana which makes nothing of the lotus feet of the Guru is surely ajnana. meaning non-wisdom. If the Guru's lotus feet are slighted, where is the basis of jnana? Having said this, she continued, after knowledge dawns, God and all else vanish into nothing. Mother, mother, in the end, my mother pervades the whole universe. Everything becomes one. This is the simple truth. And I think we'll stop there for today. Anyone have any comments, though? It's quite a lot. We learned quite a lot of what happens after death today. So let's keep up with our spiritual practices because we certainly don't want to go where some went. It's good to see you all. And I hope everyone's enjoying a little bit of the cool, even though we don't have a good air quality yet. No comments?
I think it's your birthday, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Ava told me. She must have seen it.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So I guess we'll end with a chant. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishnaprana. See you next week.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Love from Oregon.